Conversations with Celena, the podcast where we discover inspiration, motivation, and information to help you live your best life. I'm your host, Celena, aka Sunshine, and each week we'll dive into conversations with guests who share their testimonies, insights, and advice. We'll explore topics that uplift, encourage, and empower you to be the best version of yourself you can be. So tune in and let's have some fun while we explore all that life has to offer. Keep it smiling, sunshine, and let's go. Hey, sunshine. Hey, sunshine. Welcome to another episode of Conversations with Celena. I am Celena, aka Sunshine, and I'm so happy to have you with us on today. It's been a minute, but I'm super excited to be back and be live right on time to share this beautiful person with you, this beautiful, intelligent young woman with you. I can't even stop smiling. I've been smiling ever since she said yes. And she didn't even say yes to the dress. She said yes to the episode. So y'all know I'm corny. But anyway, thank you all for joining on today. Be sure to share this video. There's a powerful testimony that's getting ready to go forth, and we want it to be shared with as many people as possible. So without further ado, did y'all have any questions for me? If you do, put them in the chat. So today, our beautiful guest is a native of Southeast Louisiana. She is a distinguished visual storyteller and media professional with a passion for people and community engagement. With a career spanning over a decade, she has made a significant contribution to journalism, covering topics from local news, politics, social justice, and human interest stories. She has also earned a degree in mass communications from the University of Louisiana at Monroe, quickly gaining a reputation for her compelling reporting. Her work has been featured in various local and national outlets, earning her numerous accolades. She most recently earned a master's degree in ethics and leadership from Johnson University in Knoxville, Tennessee, where she also was a news anchor and reporter, known for highlighting the voices of marginalized communities and empathy and dedication. After a natural disaster in Tennessee, it led her to transition out of TV news, and it really was a blessing in disguise. She now resides in Metro Atlanta, utilizing her communication skills as a social media manager and communications associate, continuing to share inspiring stories, and is a mentor, a daughter, a sister, a friend, and above all else, a child of the Most High God. So I try to be creative with leaving out her name and saving it for the end. The intelligent, beautiful, loving, God-fearing, gorgeous Gwendolyn Ducre. Welcome her to the stage, y'all. Woo, woo.
Hey, Sunshine.
Hey, girl, how you doing?
I am better. I am so much better. No matter what I was before, I am better. I'm here with you, and I'm excited. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for coming, girl. Like I was reading your bio, trying to keep your name out of it so I can save it for the voila at the end. It is the beautiful, loving, gorgeous. I mean, you name it, girl. You are it. You hear what I'm telling you? You the it on the stick.
I received that. Thank you. That's so kind.
Yes, and beautiful like your mother, girl. You know, I already told you. I love your mama and your grandmama, your mama Neum.
She says hello.
Yes, well, you make sure you tell her I said hello, and I'm definitely thinking about her.
Absolutely.
Hey, Jennifer, thank you for joining. Be sure to share the video. So I know I gave you an introduction based on your bio, but in your own words, tell us a little bit about who you are.
Ooh. I think I'll start with who I am in this season, which is a student. Even though I said I wasn't going back to school, life just doesn't allow you to sit back and not learn and humble you. So that's just where I am right now. I'm someone who, we said it before, but I do love people. I'm trying to get back into that love and that care that people deserve, from each other. And I'm someone who just loves the light and want to be a light and just continue to shine the light. Oh, speaking of light, I said I wanted to wait until we were on air to share this with you, but we talked a little bit off air about being in alignment. And you're very intentional about things, and that's where I am in this season as well. And I wanted to share something with you. I brought a prop. Okay, do you see this? Hey,
Hold on,
sunshine.
hold on a second. Hold on.
I wonder what she's
Yeah,
getting. I wonder what
you
she's
know I'm an
getting.
old woman.
Stop it. I love it. Oh my gosh.
Yes,
How cool is that? Oh my goodness. I
yes.
love
It got
it.
the little butterfly on the top. You see
Oh,
it?
I like yours. Yes. That's
But babe,
good. I like that. And I'm
we
using
intentional
butterflies
and in
now.
alignment.
Yes, and butterflies is my thing right now. I think just the whole essence of them, redeveloping themselves and
Yes.
transformation, that I just love that, and just flying, So I wanted to just share that with you. So that's actually Sunshine is my family nickname. So when I saw that, I was like, yes, 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 yes today, yes tomorrow, yes to year, yes.
Yes.
So that's just a little bit about who I am.
Well, it's definitely who you are. And I, every time I see you, your mom, your family, it just makes me smile, makes my heart warm. So it's a privilege for me and an honor to have you here. And when you told me what you wanted the topic to be, I'm like all about it. The power of pivot. Because a lot of times we get in a rut of doing the same things. And when change happens, we're so resistant that we hurt ourselves and we hurt our growth. And so I can't wait to just dive right into this. And you can start wherever you want to start, girl, telling us the power of the pivot.
Yes. Well, if I'm going to start with that, we have to start with being honest. And I'm all about transparency. I had to pivot right before this podcast started.
That's
Oh my goodness. So I was all set up. I had my laptop up. I had a microphone. I was ready to go. I had a good setup. I thought I was going to be those podcast girlies. And the technology, the universe, anything said, no, just kidding. We're gonna have you pivot a little bit, and so I had to do that. And so now I'm on my cell phone. But thank you for working out with me and my little quirks here, and my technical difficulties in the beginning. So,
But
prime
it's the
example.
truth. It's how life happens in
Yeah,
real time.
yeah, yeah.
And you could have said, let's just do it another time because we're late. Like we can
Mhm,
always have that as an option to
mhm,
throw in the towel and say, you know what? I throw up my hands. I'm done. It's been too much to get to this point. But
right.
you never know if you just press on a little bit further, like move past whatever technical difficulties, your mind, your phone, your lighting, your microphone, whatever it is, your finances, your family,
Mhm,
whatever is trying to stop you from doing what you know that God has told you to do. If you could just press on past that stuff
mhm.
that's trying to block and stop, you're going to be amazed at what's on the other side waiting for you.
Yes. And I'm gonna tell you something. When you do stop, like, to your point, if I would have said, let's do it next week, well, something else is gonna happen next week. The week after that, something's gonna happen, and it's just not gonna happen. So you just have to be in the moment. You just have to persevere. And that's one of the things that I truly wanted to talk about, because that is what has molded me and shaped me into, I just turned 30, so I'm all in like this new chapter, and I'm a woman now. So that is what's really, propelled me, to move forward, and to know all you have to do is just keep on going. I mean, you're going to have the storms, you're going to have the tornadoes, which is something that has happened to me, just this year to date. I experienced a tornado, an EF2 tornado, and I was looking at the calendar and I said, wow, it's been a year already, since God has pushed me and motivated me to try something new.
Hmm.
Um, you mentioned in my bio that I worked for television news for about a decade, and I never thought I'd get out, but God said, I have something else for you. And so I just had to be patient and be humble and be willing to follow his guidance in that.
And let's just stop right there for a minute when it comes to following God's guidance. A lot of times people, there's so many uncertainties. Like, am I supposed to do this? Am I supposed to do that? Like, give us what it looked like for you as far as the direction. Because, I told you last night, just to tell you all about me moving to Iowa. I'm like, okay, if it's meant, then this will happen. Then that happened. And I'm like, did I understand that right? Well, hold on. Well, if it's meant, then this will happen. And
Right.
then when that happened, I said, God, you really got to be kidding me, because Iowa was not even on my radar, right? And so I said, okay, God, this last thing, I'm not going to ask for another confirmation, because really that's like a lack of our faith. Like, you keep asking God for another confirmation, another confirmation. And he like, girl, I'm not here for all your fun and games.
Right.
You asked me one, I gave it to you. Now you didn't ask me for two more, but I got that third one, and here I am. But it doesn't mean that it's going to be smooth sailing just because it's what you're supposed to be doing. It's just because what God is leading you to do. No one ever told you just that's going to make it easy. You just have to trust that process. So for me, that's what it was. Another confirmation, and then another confirmation, and then one more confirmation for that confirmation. So what did it look like for you being obedient in your transition?
Ooh, it's funny you mentioned obedience. So I'm a little hard headed, and I can say that now because it's true, and I just had to accept it. And I think God just got to a point to where he was tired of whooping me and just said, "Oh, I'm gonna have to show her." And so it really got to a point to where I had to start from ground zero. I mean, going back to that tornado, I was home, and you can't anticipate a tornado. You can't plan for a tornado.
Mm-hmm.
And although it lasted probably about 5 minutes, that 5 minutes changed my entire life. Um, I essentially lost my home. I lost, and not physically, but the property. I was living in an apartment complex in Knoxville, and the entire apartment complex was deemed a total loss, including people's properties and homes and the cars. So roofs were completely ripped off. Um, I mean, it just looked like just everything was demolished. Structures were crashed into pieces. And so, again, 5 minutes and you walk out and your life is upside down. And you know what? Although it was frightening in that moment, I got a backpack, I got my toiletries, my necessities, and I just headed to the front. I didn't, my body, I didn't have any time to just think about what am I going to do. I'm not going to be able to come back. I can't drive my car. I'm carless now. Where am I going to sleep? I mean, I don't have a backup or an emergency fund, which get yourself an emergency fund. Always have an emergency fund. Okay. I didn't have all those things. And yet I knew I was alive. I knew I wasn't alone. And I knew that I had to keep it pushing. I didn't know what it was going to look like. For a month, I stayed on a friend's couch, which I was so incredibly grateful for. My job let me use their company vehicle, so I was able to get around in that. But the reality was, I still need to figure out what's next. And I knew, so let me back up a little bit. Let me tell you how funny God is. I had a plan up until that tornado. So my plan was I was going to give Knoxville just one more year of my time. I was going to get my master's degree, and then I was going to leave. Well, I did get the master's degree, and then a promotion came up at my job, and I said, you know what? Let me go for it. I think I'm ready. And it was going to be a main morning anchor position. And so I went up for it, and I didn't get it. So I said, okay, that was a strike. That felt like a loss. I felt not a failure, but it definitely was a blight on, my
Mm-hmm.
motivation.
Mm-hmm.
And so I said, okay, well, I'll just keep on looking for another job. And then my lease for my apartment was up. This is before I moved. My lease went up, and I said, okay, $2,000 a month, not happening. What's going on? I thought maybe it was time for me to pack it up and go home to Houston with my mom. And I said, no, I've been away since I was 18 years old. I cannot stop now. So I said, God, tell me what it is that I need to do. So I had to move out of my apartment, $2,000 rent again, not paying that. Not I found an apartment. 2 weeks into that apartment, that's when that tornado hit. So I didn't get a promotion at work. I lost my home. I'm sleeping on a friend's couch. I don't have transportation, not my own at least. God, what's going on?
What's really going on? Okay.
I mean, I'm a decent person, you know. I don't litter. I never had a real ticket, what's going on? I'm nice to people. I'm caring. I pray to you. I talk to you all the time. You didn't tell me about this. You could have gave me a heads up. And in some ways he did, right? Like he told me no to the promotion. I told him what I wanted and he laid it out for me. He allowed me to get the master's degree, all those things that I said I really wanted. And it got to a point to where for that month of sleeping on a couch at a friend's house, I had to reevaluate. I had to sit and really talk to him, and have those honest conversations about what life is going to look like, what matters to me, what's important to me. And then all of a sudden, I saw on LinkedIn a colleague of mine was hiring for the position out here in Atlanta. And he'd been trying to get me to work for him for years. And I was not having it. I didn't want to get out of the news business. And I said, you know what? I asked my mama first because, you got to ask your mama. I said, Mama, I talked to mama and God. I said, what am I going to do? And they said, go for it. They both said go for it. The path was easy. Again, that month allowed me to regroup, get myself together, get all my personal belongings outside of the apartment, get my car, get a U-Haul. So everything I had already was moved. Everything was packed up already, right? Because I had to move out of this apartment that was destroyed from a tornado. So I already had a storage unit. Things were boxed up. All I had to do was pack up and hit the road. And I did. I got in a U-Haul by myself. I put my car on a trailer and we were out of there.
Okay, then. That's a big girl. That's a real big girl.
Right? I was scared, but we did it. We did it. God, but God, but God.
Yes, indeed.
Oh, that's my sister. Hey,
Hey, sister.
sis. DJ CD is in the house.
Yes, she said you sure did.
Yes.
So I was putting this up on the screen as you were talking about it. So for those that's just joining, we're talking about the power of pivot. We had to pivot right before we started. Um, I put my crown on because as I was talking to this beautiful young lady, it's like I had to pivot my pitiful thinking, like, girl, fix your crown. So
Yes.
we're coming today to help you fix your crown because we fixed our crown last night as we were talking. I had no idea I was gonna put this on this morning, but as I was getting ready, I said, you know what? I'm fixing it this morning. I'm putting it on. I'm making sure it's secure, and we're gonna do this. So
And it looks good
oh,
on you.
your sunshine over here done fixed her crown, getting her life together. But sometimes those no's, oh my God, they can punch you in the gut and
Talk
make you
about it.
question, am I enough? All of those things. That rejection will bring you back to a place where you're like, what? A no? Like no is foreign for us. When we hear no, especially when you don't put yourself out there to say, this is something that I want to try for this, and you're already there, so you feel like you have an advantage. Like there's no way I'm not going to get it. And then when you don't get it, you'll be like,
Wait a
is
minute.
this a joke? Like, am I on candid camera? So, but it was all redirecting you. So I make a post sometimes that says man's rejection is God's redirection. And so that is definitely in the case here, that sometimes we're trying to hold on. We're trying to tell God the timeline. Well, I'm going to stay here one more year and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And God is like, really? Like, this how we going to do this? Let me show you that these are the plans that I have for you, and I need for you to listen. So, I'm like you, girl. I'm hard headed. I got to be kicked off the pot.
Right. You can't tell me it's hot. I gotta touch it, and then I
I
gotta hold my
gotta
hand
touch
there
it.
for a
Yes.
minute. I
Yeah,
gotta
gotta
see a
lose some
burn, a scar.
skin. Yeah, gotta feel the burn, lose the skin, bubble up. You
All
get
the
burned, it's got
things.
to bubble all up and look ugly. That's
Yes. But why do you think that is? Where does that come from? Because I'm still trying to navigate, like, why do I have to always, in my mind, go the hard route? It's almost like taking the easy route. There is no reward in that, when really God said it's easy. I wonder why it's so hard.
I think just as humans, we want to be in control, and we're not always as sensitive to what God is telling us to do for that still small voice, because we're so busy and we see things happen and we're like, oh, I'm gonna do this, and then you go back and ask the question, like, was I supposed to do? Like, it's too late. You were supposed to ask before you jumped, not after you jumped, because our leap of faith is not always a leap of faith. It's a self leap. It's a self jump. It's self motivated. And then it gets us in a mess. And then that self motivation mess, we got to kind of back up out of it and be like, maybe I shouldn't have done that. So I think that's part of it. Just that wanting to be in control and make decisions and moving too fast, just moving too fast in the things that we want. Like, we're motivated by this natural sight and not always by the spiritual eyes.
Mhm. Mhm. And that's scary.
That's
It
scary that
is.
we left to our own choices and free will.
What am I to do, Lord?
And that's the reason that I really was complimenting you last night, because we don't compare, right? At
Mhm.
this level, it's not a competition, it's not a comparison. But as an older woman talking to a younger woman, and I look back over the decisions that I made, like, I had, you know, a child out of wedlock, and that makes life harder. Not to say just because you're married, life is easy, but you want to do things in order, how it's supposed to be done. And then when you don't do it that way, it's going to be extremely hard, where life is hard anyway. When you make choices that are outside of the will of God, it does cause a lot of heartache, a lot of unnecessary tears. And so I was telling you, don't let anybody put pressure on you to do this, that, or the other, because, baby, ain't nothing better than peace.
Hmm.
You have peace whenever you
Right.
can move the way that you need to move. Just think, if you would have had a baby in tow, like I would
Mm.
have had, if that would have happened to me, not only am I concerned about my well-being, now I got to be trying to pack up their stuff and worry about who's going to watch them while I'm at work. It just brings on a whole new level of stress. And so, but it was a decision that I made, not, oh, I want to be a single mom, but because I was doing other things, that's the result. So if you don't get anything else from me from this particular episode, we are talking about the power of pivot, but also choices. Your decisions today, they really define what your tomorrow is going to look like. And so just be careful what you're doing today, what you're saying yes to today, because, it matters.
Yeah.
You matter, your decisions matter, it all works together.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. I'm definitely going to take that with me.
Look who in
And
the house.
ah! You have to believe. Hey, mama.
Hey, mama. Hey, sister. Girl, that's my sister right there.
Oh, I miss you. Both of my girls are here. My sister and my mama. I love y'all so
Girl,
much.
don't
It
cry
was.
now because we ain't here to
I
cry.
know, cause I will. I am a crybaby. They know it. I am a crybaby, and I've been through so much. And I just, oh, if it weren't for those two, forget about it.
Yes, you have to believe in
Ugh,
yourself. The first part of the words,
it's you.
you.
Yes. Thank
Yes,
you,
yes,
Mama.
mama. Thank you,
And
mama.
really, it was her. As you know, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that it was a lot of my mother's guidance and her teaching that allowed me to be strong enough to want to keep going. To your point, like I could have said, I'm going home, which I did. It was a thought to just go home, but I hadn't been home since I was 18 years old, and I had a plan, and I said I was going to at least see. I always wanted to just try to see how far I can get, not necessarily on my own, but just in the world, and just and just making my own life and creating a path that I can look back on and say that I'm proud and that I did it. But it was my mother's strength that kept me going, and my sister telling me and reminding me of who I am. So to that point, I wanted to say, don't you beat yourself up about the journey that you took, because we all have our journeys. God knew what I needed just as much as he knew what you need and needed then.
Hmm. Yes, and it's definitely not a beat up. It's a lesson though. So
Mhm.
I went through that whole mommy guilt for real thing. Just to let you all know if you haven't experienced it, but you do have mommy guilt, right? And that's not where I reside anymore. So where I am currently is helping others either that have been through it, help them, or if you haven't experienced, just really encourage you to stay the course, stay on the path that you're on because it's an amazing journey. It really is. If I could go back, would I change some stuff? Of course. I think we all would. But what I've been through, it has made me who I am today. And I care more than what I used to care.
Mhm.
Um, I empathize more than I used to empathize. I don't judge where I used to judge.
It's a
So
big one.
I'm thankful for where I've been, where I've come, and where I'm going,
Yes.
how far I've come and where I'm going.
I can see it on you. I see it, all the light. I see the sunshine.
Woo, the
Yeah, I
sunshine.
don't know. It might be the bling. I don't know. It
Oh,
could be the
yes,
bling
girl. Look, got the
shining.
bling going on right here, too. Don't blind
Yes.
yourself now.
Oh, okay, okay.
Woo.
I love that. Oh goodness.
Oh, love
Love you
you
too,
too,
Mama.
Mama. Yes. Hey, Vanessa. So, so in this right here, what would you share? Since I've said my part to the younger ladies, or people in general, because I'm a boy mom, so we want to talk to people. But if you want to specifically address young women, that's fine too. But in this whole process, if you could go back and tell your younger self something that you think would be beneficial to someone else coming behind, what would you share with them?
I would share to be careful with the idea of life is too short. Don't allow that or don't use that as a crutch for not thinking about your future self. And that's a part of self love. It's not just thinking about now, the whole YOLO life. You only live once and just go with the flow. It doesn't work. It doesn't work for the future. And you really have to be mindful about how the choice that you make today and how that's going to reflect you later in life. And then, of course, power of the pivot, be willing to change, be open to it. Just see what's out there. No one else's path is your own path. You have to cultivate a life for yourself because you have to be at peace. And then again, it's not even really, you don't have to do anything, just allow God to lead you and the rest is really history.
And I think we get busy doing too much
Mm, mm,
that we lose the clarity. There is clarity in being still.
yeah.
If you're so busy moving and doing, thinking, because I think we've been taught that too. Like you have to do something, you have to do these things in order for God to love you and bless you, and this, like it's already been done. Like it's already been done. So there is power in the pause, which
Mhm.
means being silent, being still, and then you pivot. Girl, that's a whole word right there.
Yes, it
Power in
is.
the
Are we
pause.
recording? Is the recorder on?
Is the recording on? Because we done said a whole word right there. Now that's a word. That's how my
That's a word for your mama.
Mhm. Yes. So I would just say be prepared to pivot. And like Gwendolyn said, be sure to save. That's something I think that we miss a lot of times because you only live once. But I just stopped saying that and I started saying you live every day. You only
Yeah.
die
Ooh,
once. So
ooh,
you
I like
live
that.
every day, and um, we're living like there's a tomorrow. So you also need to save like there's a tomorrow.
Right.
Um, and because we'll try to spend every single thing that we get. We get it, it's gone. We get it, it's gone. And when you need it, you don't have it. Girl, look at
Oh, sorry.
that.
I was a
That's
little
a cute
parched on
little
that one.
glass,
I had to drink on that one. That was it's just water though. It's just water. It's just water, mama. It's water.
but it's a cute glass. It's a cute glass.
Thank you.
So definitely be prepared, be mindful that life is going to happen. You will need in the future, and it's uncertainty. We're living in times of uncertainty, but you can't let the uncertainty scare you because we're not fearful, but we do
Mm,
need to be prepared.
yes.
Because that's what I would say if I had to tell somebody along this journey of moving, uprooting. I gave almost everything away, threw some stuff in storage, put some stuff in Jerry, that's short for Geraldine, threw some stuff in Jerry,
I was like,
and
Mary.
we hit girl. Jerry is the car. Okay, so you knew Jerry is the car. This right here is Sassy Fran. My afro
Oh,
is
come on,
Sassy Fran,
sassy.
and my microphone is Big Mike. Wherever Big Mike, I think Big Mike is in the car, but
Shout
that's Big
out to Big
Mike.
Mike. I like Big Mike. That's
Yes, Big
cool.
Mike in the car. Sassy Fran and Geraldine. So I put stuff in Geraldine, and we came on. Has it been easy? I ain't gonna tell nobody that, but it's been fun. It's exciting to be in a new place. Um, it has its challenges, but it also has its rewards because you did it. Like your sister said, let's see what this is. Sister back here said, yes, you did it. And that's how I feel. At 52 years old, I packed up, I left Mississippi, came to Iowa. Whoever said that, nobody ever, but I did it. And, would do it again. Would do it again.
Yeah,
Most definitely.
you have to. You have to trust yourself. Like Mama said, it's all about you, you, and God.
Yeah, because I was about to say, I don't know if I trust myself like that.
Yeah, I was gonna say yeah. I didn't say that. It's not all me. Just kidding. It's not all me. You can lean in anytime. Come on.
Yes, please lean in,
The
God, because I
doors
don't
are
know what
open.
I'm doing over here. So you're in media. So if someone wanted to do that as far as a career, what advice would you give them for that?
First off, just identify what your passions are, your strong suits, what exactly you want to get into. Because media now, especially with social media, is just so broad. So you don't have to necessarily pick a lane, but kind of find your door into it, and then just be willing to adapt and know exactly what it is that you want to do and what the product that you want to go into. Um, and I think, there's one thing I always will tell people. education is so important, and that does not always mean going to college. But if you can just familiarize yourself with the craft, get on YouTube. I'm at work sometimes and I come across an issue and I'm like, you know what, let me go on YouTube or TikTok. I'm not afraid to say it. The kids, somebody knows something, right? Someone will always know something, and so just be open to listening to feedback and trying to figure out how to master your craft. So just go for it.
And do not be afraid to learn from different people. Like, we sometimes, I think, kind of stray away from feeling like the person is too young, too old, too this, too that, wrong color, wrong political affiliation. It's just all kinds of stuff we use as an excuse. But the truth of the matter is, we can all take something from everyone else, from somebody. We all have something to give. And I'm not gonna lie, YouTube University has seems like everything. I need to figure out how to stop a hole in my air mattress. I told the kids we need to go to YouTube University and figure out how to stop this leak in this air mattress. So you're correct. You do need to go learn. There's
Mhm.
even free courses online if you decide you
Yes.
want to do A, B, or C. Like, I officiate weddings now, and so I signed up for a guy who he gets paid a nice sum of money to officiate weddings, and so you have to follow. In order to be a good leader, you have to be able to follow. So go find someone that's doing the things that you want to do and follow them. Doesn't mean you're gonna mimic them per se. You're going to take what you can learn from them and create your own, because it's you. It's only one you, and you're unique.
Yes. I like what my mom said here. Do you see that?
Hmm.
She basically just said what you're saying. Like, God created us in the womb. He knows all. Just trust the process.
Trust the process.
Mm, gotta trust that process. And sometimes, like I said, I did not want to go through any of it. I wanted it to be easy, you know. If it wasn't hard, I didn't want to go, I wanted to go right into it.
Baby, we want to do the two step and not the dance. Like, we really want everything to be no
I
more
want
than
to do
two
the Tamia
steps.
dance. Still can't do it.
Look, we want it to be no more than two steps. If it's more than two steps, we don't want it. It's got to be easy for us. And the more we want easy, the more it's difficult to show us
Hmm.
that we can.
Hmm. Hmm.
Hmm.
I love that.
Yes. So, is there anything else like about the pivot that you wanted to share, since we're talking about the power of the pivot?
I think one thing I just say is it gets better. As long as you're staying in the fight. Oh, I wasn't gonna say it,
Girl, we
but
already
yes.
know it. You don't have to say that. We know whose daughter you belong to. We know what family you come from, baby.
Oh
It's
my
That's a given.
gosh.
You and King.
Oh, you know about King? That's
Yes.
my brother. Shout out to Handsome. Well, he has all the names. Oh my gosh. But that just, thank you, Mama. You just blew up my spot. Okay. But you know what? I used to since we're talking about being spoiled, I'd say I was blessed. I was just really blessed to have the foundation, and you just have to trust the things that you were given. Everything that has been given to us has been put in a toolbox for us to use at a later date. You just have to identify when it's time to use that hammer, when it's time to use that wrench. Just but do it. You know what I mean? You still have to keep on building. Again, the life that you want to live, and just don't give up, because
Mhm.
again, it can be better. You got to want it, you got to pray for it, and you have to believe it. And that's still something that I'm learning. But the more I reflect and sit with my thoughts and sit with my prayers, it's proven time and time again that life is worth living. Not to go too deep, but it is, and it is beautiful.
It definitely is. And I know you said not to go too deep. But for a second, I'm just gonna talk about like a little bit of the conversation that we had last night, because there's people who chose to end it early just
Hmm.
because of the pressure and the stress and the depression and whatever caused them. I mean, we don't know specific stories because they're no longer here to tell us
Hmm.
what pushed them over the edge. But that's the reason that we continue to show up, to encourage you
Hmm.
and to remind you that it's not easy for us. I know sometimes from the outside in it looks like this person, that person has it easier. The one thing that we should understand is that we all have our struggles.
Yeah.
We all have our ups and downs and our good days and our struggle days, but we don't quit. We don't throw in the towel. We don't decide that we that life is not worth living, because it does get better. It does. And the girl called me last night. She's like, Miss Sunshine, did you see the shirt you had on? It says perspective.
Mm.
And so life is a lot about our perspective. We can go
Hmm.
outside, the sun could be shining, and someone could say, it's such a beautiful day. It could be raining, and someone could go out and say, it's such a beautiful day. Like, it's beauty in both the sun
Hmm.
and the rain. You just have to have that perspective, knowing that beyond that rain, there's sun.
I
That's
was
where
gonna say, what comes after rain? Sunshine.
the sunshine, the rainbows, baby, the beauty. Your mom says you have to put in the work to get results.
Yeah.
And that is the hard part. Sometimes that can be the hard part. If
It
you're
is
not a
hard.
workaholic and you have to struggle sometimes to put one foot in front of the other, I think even for the workaholic, sometimes they do. But you have to put in the work in order to get the results, and trust the process along the way, because sometimes it doesn't look like it's doing anything. You're putting in the work, you're putting in the work, you're putting in the work, and you're like, am I just like a hamster on a wheel, like just going in a circle? Because it feels like I'm putting in the work and it's not moving forward and it's not growing. Just remember that it's a process. Remember, let me see, your mama put it up here earlier. You have to trust the process. And I'm just gonna say, because I'm looking at my stove, like, you throw the cake in the oven, you can't expect for the cake to be done in 2 minutes. You just put it in the oven and you're looking at it and it's not rising. You look at it again, it's still not rising. But on the inside, the temperature is growing and it's becoming the product that you really want. If you give up too soon, you're gonna have a raw cake, a uncooked cake, a flat cake. You're gonna have all this stuff. So you just have to go through the process and know that even when the numbers don't show it, the boss don't see it, all of these things don't look like it's adding up, it is working behind the scenes. It's working together for your good. And you and we have to trust the process. Put in the work and trust the process.
You can't let defeat win. Like I said, I've been trying to make something out of myself, and I did. For I did make something out of myself in news, but I did it for about 10 years, and I did it the traditional route. I interned, I started up a newscast or a news program at my school at the time. Like, I did all these things. I was on the radio in high school, and I gave it about a almost a year run, and I went up for that promotion that would have really, for me personally, solidified all of the work that I did, and all the time that I put in, the 12-hour shifts, the 8-day straight days, of clocking in, breaking news. It, in my mind at that moment, it felt like, what did I do it for? And it wasn't until I leaned into the power of that pivot and said, "Oh, everything that I learned is transferable. It doesn't have to fit in one shoebox.
Right.
Like, we can fit in a closet, and I'm talking double size, And so
Yes.
that's just what I chose to do, is just kind of figure out, okay, I know I can do these things, but how can I make these things work best for me and others? And so now I get to do it. I'm still storytelling. I'm still in front of, behind a camera. I run a social media account for a school district here in the area, and I get to work with kids and tell their beautiful stories. Like, I can't ask for much. I cannot ask for much, and then I got more.
It wasn't for you at that time. Thank you, Mama. She reminded
Thank you. Right.
it
It wasn't
wasn't
for
for you at that time. And that's the truth. And we have to be okay with that. Like, it's not my time, and not give up. Because what if you would have what if you would have given up? You would
Mhm.
not be where you are right now, doing what you're doing and showing others. Like, life is just not about us. You're
Mhm.
showing others, young, olds, doesn't matter, that look at what can happen. You put in the work, you put in the time, and you don't get discouraged in the no.
Mhm.
You don't get discouraged in the disaster, because that natural disaster could have made you just be like back at home with mama. And there's nothing wrong with being back at home with mama.
No, because every day I'm like, you still got room?
She gonna always have room for you, and if she don't, she gonna make some room for her baby. Let me just say that. But it was your determination and your goals and your aspirations to block out this time to see what I can do with God's help for me as an independent Black woman. And look at what you've accomplished. Like, we are so proud of you, and we're so excited to see what the next decade is going to hold.
Thank you. Ooh, keep aging myself with these decades. Mm-mm. But thank you so much for pouring into me positive vibes, and I receive it all. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yes, yes. And I receive your words of encouragement to not give up on conversations with Celena and to pivot. Like,
Yeah.
this may be a word for not just you, not just me, not just the listeners on the live, but the people to come behind, because we all come to a season in our life where we have a decision to make. Am I going to stay here, or am I going to pivot and
Mhm.
do something completely different, completely out of the norm, because we're here not to conform to what everybody else is doing, and God has set us apart. And sometimes that hurts. Sometimes it's a lonely place. It's a solo walk. It's you and God. It's not you and mama. It's not you and the kids. It's not you and the church. It's not you and the job. It's you, and we have to pivot. And sometimes with all that, how that song Erica Badu,
Bag lady.
baby, you can't make a good pivot if you got all them bags holding you down. You might be
Mhm.
supposed to do this, and you can barely do this. Like, you might as
You
well
might
stay in
even
the
tip
middle.
over.
Might even tip over, girl. Tip all the way over. Hey, Lisa sets it off. Welcome, girls. Share the live, Lisa. Share the live. So yeah, so we have to reduce some of the things. And like, I know you had a U-Haul and you put your car on the trailer and stuff.
Still can't believe I did that.
Look, Geraldine was my U-Haul. We put what we could in Geraldine. My friends trying to get me to put a hitch on her and pull some stuff. I said, I'm not about to put Jared through all of that, trying to add a hitch to her and drag some stuff on. God gonna make a way whenever I get there. And when I tell you it's happened, like, some people may turn their nose up at how I got my bar stools and how I got my furniture, like, ugh. But you know what? God provides.
Absolutely, all the time.
And it's comfortable for me and for us now, because I don't went from an empty nest baby to a full house.
Yeah.
That's gonna be the new name of the show, Full
Whole
House.
house and the dog.
And the dog.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
thank you, girl. Thank you. Lisa say, I did. She done shared us out, sprinkled us out, however you say it, girl. I don't even know what the right rules are. I probably be breaking them left and right. It's so
That's
many
okay.
that you can't say. Like, you're not supposed to say this, you're not supposed to do that. I'm just me. And that's
Yeah.
what I do want to also encourage you. I'm on a new journey some of you may already know it is a self-discovery, healing journey. Um, and I'm just learning to be me. And I don't want to follow whatever the rules are. So if that means I have to get off social media just to be who I am, cry when I feel like crying, laugh when I want to laugh, talk about what I want to talk about when I want to talk about it. The children told me the other day, Mama, you can't say trauma and sexual abuse and all that kind of stuff on TikTok. They'll shut you down. It's the truth. So if the truth gets us shut down, then we'll be shut down, I guess, because I don't know any other way to say it. Coming up with these creative words in order to say sexual abuse when it took me years to say it. Now you're telling me I can't say it, girl. That's just a whole nother level of trauma to me.
Whoa. Do you know how much you just unpacked it there? Oh my gosh. Yes. Because you said that yesterday. Some people can't even utter the words. And now we're restricting the words. You know, I'm going to fight for the First Amendment all day. So somebody knew it was important.
Somebody knew. And and I get that you're trying to keep certain things,
Filtered.
PG,
Yeah,
yeah,
right,
filtered
right.
and stuff. So I get that. But I gotta have a platform where you say it and you say it in a raw manner, not disrespectful or anything, but raw enough to make it real.
Yeah.
So some stuff is so sugar coated, it's not as impactful as it needs to be, because me saying that someone touched me versus someone, I don't know if kids are watching, but RAPE, that's a totally different thing. Touch and that assault is different.
Mhm.
And it needs to be told in a way that people can find their voice, because that's
Yeah.
what I want. I want people to find their voice. If they haven't been through it, I want you to keep yourself safe, that you never, ever have to experience it. But if you have experienced it, I want you to be able to talk about it and be free from it, because we walk around and we say, we're free, but we imprisoned right here.
Exactly.
So what's worse?
Yeah. I always say it's unfair. We talked about that last night, how you have to unpack your own trauma and heal yourself, when you didn't traumatize yourself.
But when you hold it in, you are traumatizing yourself.
Yeah, I can only imagine.
Yeah. So we want to live free. We want to find our power of pivot, y'all.
Yes.
It's time to pivot, turn away from sweeping it under the rug, turn away
Mhm.
from low self-esteem, turn away from self-sabotage. We're turning away. Like, we are making a powerful pivot on today. So I want us all to make that declaration.
Yes. And sit in gratitude whenever you get a chance, anytime you get a chance. Just sit in it, because we were talking about, overcoming these big ideas and these, big moves. But sometimes you just have to take those small wins and let them add up, and let that allow you to be pushed. Use that as motivation to turn yourself around.
So small wins,
Yeah,
celebrate them.
absolutely.
And guess what? You have them every day.
Every day.
Every
You
day.
woke up. That's a
First
win.
one. First one.
You get that off rip. That's automatic.
Woo! That's the first one.
You didn't have to work for that one.
What's that post? I think it says, like, you had two gifts. You open up your eyes. Those were your two gifts for today. Yeah. Be grateful. I'm
Absolutely.
very grateful.
And I'm
I
sure that's changed your life, hasn't it?
A lot of things have. And the older you get, like, you're a youngster. I know you're over there going through,
Thank you for
making
putting
turning
that on
30.
me. Thank you. I'll take the young. I'm a young woman still.
Yes, you are a young woman, honey. And a wise woman at that. Like, so
Mhm.
that's even better. Like, your mama says spoil, and spoil could be like just a spoiled brat. Like, but no, you don't give spoiled brat vibes at all.
Thank you.
um, but it when you go through and you live life and it tries to take you out, you do have a different level of thankfulness and gratitude and perspective on life. You don't look at it the same way. So when people are being petty and immature and all of those things, you're just like, if you only knew the half, you would not spend your time being messy, being petty, any of those things.
Uh-oh. When I turned my head and I go side to side, let's see. I didn't do anything. Let's see.
Here you
Okay.
go. Woo!
I'm turning myself around. I'm pivoting once again.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's see. And the show will always go on.
Definitely. So what was it like? Tell us, what is it like being on TV?
You're on TV. I mean, it's a screen. It's the same. I'd say it's you don't see people. People always think like, are you nervous? But unlike being on a stage, you're not seeing people looking at you. You're
Mhm.
just looking at a lens. So really, it was a job. It was just get up and I'm gonna tell you what I heard on the street, and I hope you're listening because it might change your life. But no, I enjoyed it. There were a lot of times where it did get a lot of it got heavy a lot. But I knew that it was a calling at the time, and I call it was my service. That was my time to give to the universe, and I did my bid, and now I'm just learning to transform that and see how I can do that differently. But being on television, it was like any other job. Only when you go to the grocery store, when you go to Kroger, and people are staring at you, and you're like, "Do I know you?" And then you forget that you're on TV. So,
Mhm.
so
Mhm.
that was interesting. But yeah, it was normal for me.
So, how did you get your stories? You would go out or would they come to you?
Very seldom would they come to me, and I didn't like that. I was one of those reporters where I wanted to come in. I'm going to pitch you at least three stories, because this is what people want to hear about, right? So a lot of times I just build a rapport with different communities, and I made it my mission to make sure that I was tapping into those under represented communities,
Mhm.
so that their stories can be uplifted and told, especially given the area that I was in. That was very near and dear to me, was to make sure that everyone's story and everyone had a platform, because it was never my story. I told people it was your whoever story I was telling at the time. That was your story, unless it was something informational. It was your story. So yeah, people would recall me, and I would go to them and say, "Hey, what's going on?" Checking in. I did a lot of crowd surfing on the web and on social media, because everybody puts everything on social media.
Mhm.
So I would do that a lot and reach out to people. But for the most part, I leaned heavily on relationships, because that was really important to me.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting because like I want to go out myself. I told you me and Big Mike and
Yes, yes,
Sassy
yes.
Friend, I want to go out and have conversations with
Mhm.
people and just my approach. I wasn't sure about that. So I was just kind of curious as to how you were able to gather your stories for the
Mhm.
news.
Yeah, it was just and identifying what's compelling enough, right? Like, how is this gonna not just allow you to just share and talk about your story, but how this is gonna help benefit people as a whole.
Hmm.
But I think you have something going. Get that microphone and just go talk.
Yes.
Allow people to. It seems like you're, one of those people where you don't mind people dumping on you per se, but people just need a listening ear right now. So if you can award that to people right now, I say go for it. Get that microphone and don't let it come to you. You go get it.
You go get it, baby. Put your shoes on, your good feet shoes,
Mm-hmm.
happy feet, whatever you call it, sore, and get on out there, sunshine, because we can't wait for it to come to us. Like we do
No,
have to go get it. I think your mom has said that. So she said, go back up to my comment about pivot. So let's see.
what's she saying?
I think she said pivot is a turn. How you land can and will make all the difference.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. That's true, Mama. And
And
Lisa,
hopefully you still turning on your feet.
mm-hmm. Conversation. Would you be interested in Chatter Social? It's a brand new platform that I think you would benefit with like-minded people. We'll have to look that up. We will have to look that up, Lisa. So So yes, I appreciate you sharing your testimony about all the things that have just recently taken place in your life and how you've had to pivot and land on your feet, land, hit the ground running, but everything that has happened leading up until this point, it has equipped you for a time such as this. And so just know that you're out there for us to see, for us to follow. You are the leader. God has given you that gift. And so you hold your head up and you continue to march forward because it's not even a march anymore. You are definitely soaring. You shall soar, continue to soar in 2024. And so you just continue to be that light because we see you. God sees you, and we're thankful. I'm so thankful for you. I feel blessed to know you and your family.
Well, thank you, thank you, thank you. This has been fantastic. I'm really, truly honored that you even thought enough to want to chat with me and let me just ramble on about how life has knocked me down on my right side, my back side, everywhere but my feet. so,
Girl,
so
no,
I
you
really
landed,
thank
honey.
you.
You landed. It might not have been a clean land,
Right,
but
right.
you have landed yet again in another place where you're going to make a difference. And it's not just on the news. See, you had a particular age group when you were on the news, and now God has placed you amongst children. So you can make an even greater impact there, I believe, because children are so impressionable.
They are. They're awesome. And I want to say too, um, you have been amazing to work with. I mean, this has been outstanding. Your setup is very nice and professional. The way we were introduced was just ground. I mean, it was spectacular. Like, I'm so proud of you. What you have here is phenomenal. And I really hope that every day you find the strength and the motivation to keep your conversations going because you have something to say, people have something to say, and this is a beautiful platform to be shared on. So kudos to you. So
Well, thank you.
cheers.
There you go. Hey, sunshine.
Hey
There you
sunshine, we gotta
go.
hold it up. Hey sunshine.
Ooh, child. We
Hey.
sunshine all day long over here.
When I watched one of your podcasts and I heard you say, "Hey sunshine," I said yes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Sold. I will be there. And again, this has been a pleasure. So thank you. And I haven't shared my story publicly. So thank you. I feel
Really?
better. Yeah, I feel so much better. I feel, because there's a lot of self-doubt that goes into all your I hate to call them failures, but lessons. And so you get to a point to where and you don't have the time to reflect. So thank you for allowing me to really let it settle that I've overcame so much and that you can do it. You can do it.
And I thank you for that too, because this platform, even though it's out there, I want it to be a place where like people come and at first they say that they're nervous and then before it's over, they're like, you made me feel so
Look,
comfortable.
you see me. I didn't shift it. I'm sitting. I'm like laying back now.
Girl, I told you I might make it turn it into conversation with Celena on the couch and be on the couch myself. I got some new fluffy white pillows. Girl, I
We'll
might be
be
right
tuned
there with you
in.
next time. So with that being said, I can't wait for the next time. So I hope that you do come back and give us an update in probably another year or 6 months or whenever you make the next pivot because it's coming. Life constantly changes, and we have to be in a position to embrace those changes and not try to fight against it because that's where all the friction and it just makes it
It's not
hard,
gonna
and we don't
work.
want to make it harder.
Right.
Oh, thank you. She says Sunshine is a wonderful woman, and I just love her so much.
Yes, we love Miss Sunshine. Shine
Sunshine.
your light on the world.
Yes, yes. So is there anything else that we didn't touch on that you said, you know what, I want to make sure that I say this?
I think we hit everything. Do you feel? I feel good. I feel at peace. That's where I'm leaning in. If I feel good about it, then I can keep going. So that's where I am. I'm settled. I'm good. Thank you.
Good, good. My final, excuse me, my final thoughts would probably just be I'm trying to think of another time that I had to pivot was um, I got very sick and I was in school. I went back to school and I failed like my calculus class. And I felt so bad. Like, I'm like, if I go retake this calculus class, am I really going to do better? Like, I was paying for a tutor, all of the things, and it just wasn't clicking.
Mhm.
And at that moment, I could have said, I'm not going to worry about this. I'm just going to go on about my life, and do something different. But there's always an alternative. So, versus getting my degree in business, I pivoted, and it's like, what is it called? It's like general studies or something like that. Some liberal arts. That's it. So
Okay.
I have a bachelor's in liberal arts, but I had so many business classes already because that was my major that I have a minor in business, and then the major would be liberal arts. But it was so bad, like I couldn't even shower myself. I couldn't. I had to learn how to walk. I was like on a walker. There was just so many things, and it was such a humbling experience. It was a dark place, but I say all of that just to say, regardless of what your situation is right now, whatever it looks like, it is temporary. And
Temporary.
don't you give up. You get up, you open up those blinds every day, you put on some encouraging music. I remember my sister used to play gospel music for me like every day. And if you're not in a place like this, you still do those same acts. You do something for you and your mental health every single day. The self care, opening up the blinds, taking a shower, taking a moment to sip on your tea, your coffee,
The
whatever it
coffee.
is that you have to do for you. Just know you're not alone. Because I think we sometimes think nobody else has to fight this hard for life. Yes, we do. We just don't tell the story.
Mm-hmm.
So we're here to
Mm-hmm.
tell the story that the pivot might be painful, but it's purposeful. Like it
Ooh.
is the purpose. And
Yes.
so I got up with the help of my mama, my sister, my friends, my family, coworkers, to say, I'm not going to quit. I'm going back to school. Even if I have to make this pivot, it's okay. And I went to my supervisor to tell her, listen, I'm struggling. She said, girl, she really kind of said, at this age, you just need to get a degree. But it's the employers just want to know that you follow through.
Yeah.
So it don't always matter what you get the degree in, as long as you push forward and finish it. And so that's what I did. So that's my little snippet right there as far as the pivot. I had to pivot, go a different direction, still got the degree, still got the promotion. And so I hope that blesses somebody, but that's my little nugget as far as how I had to pivot from the grave. This was my graduation invitation. Um, from the grave to graduation, glory to God, good to go. That's what my
Mm.
that's what my graduation invitation said, because they had said I was gonna die, but here I am still, and that was in 2015.
Wow, my God.
2015. That's what they said, and so regardless of what the doctors say, God has the final say.
God has, I pray my mother is still listening. I pray what you just said touched her. I really do. You know, she's coming off and recovering from surgery right now. She's had what's called a Kyrie and Chiari, excuse me. And so she's healing from that. So, you know, truly, truly, truly receive that, Mama. Thank you for sharing that. That was good.
Yeah, and the thing about it is truth. It is truth. It is true.
Yeah.
We never know how life is going to change in the blink of an eye. I was here doing fine one day, and over a span of time, and pay attention to your body. That's my final thing. When something is not right, stop self diagnosing. Oh, it's just this. I'm going to take that. Oh, it's just this. I'm going to take that. Go to the doctor. And if you don't have peace with that doctor, do you know how many other people have been to medical school? Find another one. Find another one, get a second opinion, and if you need to, get a third and a fourth, so that you can make an informed decision on what's best for your health.
Yeah.
Because literally, I could not even wipe my own self, could not
Mm.
bathe my own self, had to be pushed in a wheelchair until I could start on a walker. Then when I did the walker, then I did the next thing, and then the next thing. And let me tell you something, my little feelings was hurt when I got that disability tag, baby. Now I pull up in that parking spot. Say,
VIP.
I mean, like, thank you, God, for my VIP parking. Shoot, honey,
I know
perspective.
that's right.
Perspective.
Perspective. Yes.
I'm thankful to be here to still lay eyes on my children, on my family, on my coworkers, because I even love my coworkers. I pray for my boss, my lead, everybody. I just pray for everybody. My enemies, the people that don't like me, y'all all getting a shout out and a prayer.
I love that. Stay true to who you are. Stay true. I love that.
Lisa says she praying for your mother. Thank
Oh,
you.
thank you, Miss Lisa.
Yeah, mama's still
Thank
here.
you. Thank you.
Yes, girl.
Hey,
Barking.
VIP.
Keep barking. So yeah, so that's my end nugget. So what you want to
Oh,
say,
perfect.
beautiful? Because they probably don't tell me I talk too much during the broadcast. I needed to let you talk more.
Oh no, I love. Look, this is your show. I'm just a guest. You're blessing me, so I'm just sitting back. I told you I went from sitting up here to now I'm just chilling. I'm comfortable. I feel like we're just chit chatting. I appreciate it. I think I do want to repeat what you said. I want to solidify that and stamp it. You said that the pivot might be painful, but it's purposeful. I mean, that's it. It's purposeful, and you're not going to know what the purpose is. Don't ask what the purpose is, but just know and trust that it's purposeful, you know. And again, just count those strong wins, those small wins, you know. There is no big or small. You got to just accept what they are, you know, and they're a win.
Mm-hmm.
And if you
No
can look
big
at
or
the failures
small,
too,
count them all.
yeah, there you go. Count them all
Count
because they're
them.
going to add up.
Yes, they do. And the people that you've been telling no for the longest, when it's time to say yes, you're gonna say yes, because your colleague that you have been saying, no,
Yeah.
I don't want to. It comes through right on time.
Yes, absolutely.
So yes, so girl, so you have to invite me to I don't know, your microphone,
Yep.
your platform.
Well,
I'm
you
a,
can certainly follow me on Instagram and all the social media
I
sites.
did, girl. I follow you
Yes.
now on Instagram.
Yes.
Do you ever go live over there?
I don't know. I used to when it was new. Whenever I was on air, I would go live. I would be doubling up on my live coverage.
Okay, okay.
Just giving people a behind the scenes look in the studio. But no, I haven't gone live in a while.
Let me see. I put it
My
up.
sister and I, we used to go live too, time to time. She's a DJ. I don't know if she's still watching. Oh, there it is. Gwendolyn Ducre TV. You can find me truly if you just search my name. I should come up on all the social media platforms. But
Okay.
I'm mainly on Instagram.
Well, you might have to give me a crash course in Instagram because that's why I don't do too much. They're also different. The rules are different everywhere you go. So,
Yeah.
but I am on Instagram as well. But I want to be able to do more. So you might have to give me the little crash course.
I love that.
Help
I can
help
test
the old
myself on how
help
much
the old
I've
gal
learned.
out.
Yeah. That's like my mom. She's always asking me, hey, can you show me this? Can you show me that? I'm like, oh, you don't know how to do this? How don't y'all know how to do this?
We didn't come up in that technology era like yes. But I am gonna let you go. So listen, before we close out, yes, we thank you, Lisa, for the invite. Thank you, Charisma. You know I love you, sister. And thank you, sister, for being here the whole time supporting your girl. So what I do want to announce is that we will be on the radio, NOLA FM 100. That's going to be Sundays at 7. Sunshine is over there, and it's about 15 minutes. We're just going to give you a highlight of this one, but I definitely want you to come over and support us there. That's going to be Sundays with Sunshine on NOLA FM 100. If you don't come to or don't know about, we have on the third Saturday a virtual meetup. Right now we're meeting up on Zoom. We may go to Google Meets in a minute, but right now it's still on Zoom. So if you would like to attend, we just get together and encourage one another. But it is behind the scenes because everything does not have to be broadcast on social media, unlike most people think. So that's what we're up to right now. And y'all be sure. Did I forget the advertisement? Girl, I forgot the intermission. After I done worried. Hold on. We got to do that. Then we're going to close out. We'll be right back, y'all. Where is my help, Lord? Because I done completely doing the intermission at the end. That was supposed to be in the middle. Hold on. We'll be right back, y'all. Hang tight, my sunshine. Conversations with Celena. We'll be right back. Hey, sunshine.
Hey. I love that.
Girl, I was like, Lord have mercy. We at the end. That's going to have to be the closeout because I done completely forgot. Well, thank you all so much for joining. Please share this video if you have not already. We just want to be able to get out to as many people as possible the power of the pivot, because we're in a time now where I feel like most people are at a crossroad and they're going to have to understand that the pivot may be painful, but it's purposeful. And we delivered that message on today. So thank you again for saying yes to Conversations with Celena. I thoroughly enjoyed you.
Absolutely. Like,
and I hope you come back, girl.
Anytime. Just give me a ring.
All right. Well, y'all know KISS. Keep it smiling, sunshine. Mwah. Go share a smile and spread some sunshine.